Welcome. Some people might recognize where I am. I am in the art room. Eventually, Miss Currie will wander behind the camera and be visible, I hope. Okay. Or she'll hide. Okay, there she is. No, 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 no. I want to hear you. I guess first thing I'll ask you, based on the card I gave, how do you remain so kind? How do you- I don't know. You pick up a lot of strays.
They're not stray, they're children. Don't listen again, it's calling you stray.
There's a lot of cats that like to roam the hallway that find their way to me. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I'm saying you deal with a very challenging. Okay. How did you develop that? Where does that come from?
So I never because they were good and it looked like a lot of work.
Okay. It is a lot of it. As you can see, Miss Curry like kicking boxes around and cleaning her room at today's June 28th. I just probably won't come out for a while, but it is June 28th. It is the final school day or teacher day, rather. I hear Edmonton Public was out yesterday and they're going back in.
I think they're a lot.
Yeah. 26th? Yeah. Yeah. How do you keep things fresh? You know, I've seen like you try new things over the years, different things.
Pretty sure, I've never been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have ADHD of some sort.
Yeah.
And I never. So I don't do the same thing twice. I don't, my curriculum is unique. The art curriculum allows the teacher to do a lot of what they are good at. So it's not like social. math. It was written by teachers. And so those teachers know what an art room is.
Yeah.
They know that that particular clientele will very often just gravitate to these things.
Mm-hmm.
They will feel most able to express themselves in a way that the society does not allow them to, or punishes people. Now,
Yeah.
I,
That's right. Not the people who teach it.
oh,
Okay. Both.
the system is not necessarily built for individuality, and that goes through its nature and
Yeah.
we've got a system that was built to streamline the worker. And this is the only place you don't have to do. For us, it's good,
Mhm.
right? Like, you don't have to pretend, you can just be wrong consistently. We can mess up every single assignment or an entire semester. And for some reason, those kids will come out having learned some things. What they've learned, I don't know. And sometimes I think it's entirely different. But it's a soft skill set, right? Go back to that one. The big, I would say that there is one phrase that sticks out above all others. And it is, whatever you do it for the benefit of the child. So when I'm in this room,
That's is that part of the educational model? Like I've heard that somewhere. Okay, maybe I heard it from you then. Yeah.
need to do according to, probably shouldn't say it, according to Alberta Education, maybe the goal is more than learning fractions at a certain grade. It's not so. There's a whole child, when you get the benefit of education, right? PR or any other certification. Right? Anything that whole side of the force streamline for behaviors, it's good.
Mm-hmm. I think so. The interview I did with Ray, he did talk about that, where Catholic education implements one of those last frontiers. We use a Star Trek word of, well, probably not the last frontier, to be honest. If you look at human history, but the first frontier, the frontier that education is a look at, which is the spiritual education. So really looking at the holistic, who you are and who's you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kids to remember who they are and whose they are. This is Anne Barras. Brilliant woman. I think she's mad at me. Oh, I don't think I invited her, even though I wasn't in charge. To raise thing
Mm-hmm.
like that, but oh wait, she's not mad at me anymore.
Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you be kind? That's a really good question. Well, so my approach to that is that you got to be watchful for people who, yeah. I think that's simplifying it too much. That it's just their problem, right? So because let's say that happened on an individual level, right? Some, yeah,
Does that say anything bad?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's on my head, but we feel deep when I am. It's on my soul if I choose A. If I choose not to be angry, the natural consequence of that is a parent to be kind.
So I wouldn't say that anger is the correct response, but I'm assuming that, let's say in your personal life, you maybe deal with boundaries and things of disrespect and people taking advantages. Okay, okay. Well, what about in the house, right? What about in the house, right? Like you're married, you have children, right? You have raised kids.
Maybe kids like that.
Okay. So there are things put in place to ensure that people aren't, let's say, maliciously taking advantage of your kindness.
Really good at it. It's gonna show you that. Yeah.
Okay. 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 And I guess that's very different than my kind of initial interpretation of the question. So what I was, or at least what I envisioned with that is like, and you did hint at it, like remaining kind regardless of how a student behaves says more about the student than it says about you, right? And I'm using student because we deal with students, right?
Dumb choices.
How you get set up like 10 feet away from me.
Children make terrible choices because I've made terrible choices, right?
Same, right? Yeah.
I've made dumb choices. And I think the students told me this year in an interesting activity that Mrs. Grant Tucci had for psychology. She had them sit on the hot seat, which she's got me on right now. And then she had the students in the class talk about what they saw in that person sitting on the hot seat. And some of the kids gave me responses that said, maybe I'm not failing. So they said that I was a good role model. I don't know that that's true necessarily, but some of them felt that. They said that, and I guess you have to ask yourself kind of what you would say about yourself. And what the other people around you see in you, but sometimes be a lot different. There's a lot more to who we are and who we are than that. Right? Like, what kind of person do I want to be? It's a big responsibility standing in front of the room and being the person that the kids can talk to about stuff. And each teacher has a different personality. So each teacher welcomes different people into their room most effectively, right? But sometimes it's just a sales pitch. Like, what? I don't wanna muck any kids up, I just don't wanna muck them up, I don't make a kid feel unwanted. Well, feeling that, going through the building and not feel like somebody cared about it. And somebody has to care about each kid. And the ones that are the hardest to care about.
And I would say I have still have a very difficult time with that because as you deal with a person for 80 minutes, 5 days a week,
It's the one
it,
person.
yeah,
You take
that's,
the
mm-hmm.
kid, it's reality. No child is intentionally or maliciously, they're not old enough to do anything yet. If you're
I would disagree with you on that, but I'll let you. Yeah. Mhm. Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing was worried me, was thought was, and I would see people intentionally, like, yeah, maybe there's a kid that like tracked us anybody just to get a rise out of the teacher. That's not out of true religious impact. Right? They don't know enough about the world around to truly act out. Okay, I'll give the AI example. So I was at a conference with Dr. Currie, leading experts on AI in education. And he said that what it would be used for. You can use AI to create particular cure or particular cancer, right?
Yeah.
You could also use AI to create a particular type of bomb that would be bigger and kill more people than if you give even those really terrible kids the option between the two things. They're gonna pick the good thing and they just will. They don't have that desire to cause true pain. They would rather help. They still lean in that direction. If they're born innocent, right? Might be born into trauma, might be generated in trauma there, which is in self, right? But that child themselves and that little spirit that exists inside of them, whatever you want to call it, soul, persona, character, that person is at the root good. Or at least it likes like, we need either way, one of them. So whatever imprint has been left on them by their experiences, it's minimal. I can do more damage, right? Or I can do more good. So I choose the latter.
The way you see the world then is, I guess, the fascinating thing that I wanted to get to. Like what you just explained
You're
that.
dumb, make dumb choices. The
Mhm.
longer we live, the worse consequences to be.
Mhm.
Very intentional, not making dumb choices. Every single action that I make in this building can have a consequence. And the more positive my interactions are in privilege in this building, the more consequences possible. If I'm an angry person, I guess, I don't know. But I don't know somebody is like that. And
Yeah, and I wouldn't advocate for that or say that I'm curious, like, hey, Miss Curry, why aren't you angry all the time? Right? That's not the approach that I have, but mhm. Yeah.
Just get them slap and do as little as possible, and have some fun. And maybe show kids that. So I get to sit in front of the play with shiny things,
Mhm.
make big messes.
And little messes.
Lots of little messes, trying to do it. Talk to genuine good people. We do a waterfall, and we have friends around, and I get paid to do it.
Mhm.
I have a pretty good life. Which means each and every person that comes into this room can have a good life too. And they have exactly the life they want. I don't want to teach math. I don't want to teach English. My God, the market is tremendous. Some kids can't use period to save their lives. But some adults can't do that. So I don't, right? Like, let's just try and show people that you can enjoy your life, because it should be some crappy. And a lot of people in the world have pretty crappy lives. So ripple on, wrong. Try to roll around. Some of them are bigger than others. Right, so it's kind of, okay, that's wrap. That's questions.
Well, I'm thinking you said a lot. Um,
We just try to have fun.
yeah, yeah.
It's too.
So on the days, let's say on the days where you're feeling like your cup's not, whatever.
So, if I fertilize and weed, so get the things that are causing us grief, the misses, the toxic thoughts, the whatever, take out the bad things that are in my environment and produce an environment that is fertile, fertile things, ideas, creations, whatever. Take it to whatever level you want. The people in that environment will foster one another's growth. I shouldn't have to do anything yet. They should do it for each other.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, I mean, it's great because I don't teach math, I don't get particular concepts down. They don't need to learn quadratic equations or trig or do stats. Like, I'm very fortunate that a principal a long time ago said that he disagreed with a superintendent who didn't necessarily see me as a teacher. I still don't see myself as a teacher, right? I'm a painter who happens to be fortunate enough to have a degree. Like, cool. My parents paid for it, lucky me. A lot of kids can't justify that expense. So what are kids good at? I like seeing good things in people that they don't see in themselves. And give a kid something that's they're good at. Oh, they'll just fly with it. They'll just sprinkle it.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be witness to that with a student that you and I both taught a few years ago. She was very good at, I mentioned this in a different video that's going to come out, but she was very good at sculpting little heads. And one of the joys I've had of being able to stumble into your room is seeing like some kid doing something very proficiently and ask them like, wow, how long you been doing this? Like, since January.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, 2 months in, 2 months in, and you are creating like high
It's very
quality art.
important. So an essay, you don't see the as a 15, 16 year as much as you do in a sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
They can see it. That's the age that they're at. Elementally, they're not stuck yet. They're very elastic. They'll go over bridges in their mind if they are given opportunities. So they're doing some experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give them playtime. There's a science to play.
Right. It's the same as like repetition.
They need to play.
Yeah.
They-
Mhm. Oh, no other subject, no other subject. Yeah.
To bring soft skills into the other classroom.
Yeah.
Teach kids that they can accomplish the hard things. And I've repeatedly said in the guard speaking, oh, you didn't teach us today. I'm like, oh, shoot, no, I walked around. Gosh, did you get anything done? And then they'll be like, yeah, look at this, and they'll get all excited because they did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did that, and they can own their education. And I need them to learn that before they leave this building, because who the hell is gonna teach them after they're here?
Yeah.
So when you go secondary, and even then, your professors will leave you alone. They'd rather, in some cases, they want all the students if they could just let their reason.
Yeah, it is, high school is kind of the last place where you'll meet like adults that, and not every professor is like this. I had it, but very few, very few, right? Like I had a program that, again, you'd interact with people, professors who were more tuned to like the teaching aspect and the sharing information, connecting with people. But this is one of the last places where you will interact with adults who like want to get to know you, want to, right? Hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
Now we spend more time with my family.
Yeah. Hmm. So you've often told me the story of like the superintendent who's like, oh, this woman can't teach, she's not a teacher, and your principal advocated for you. Uh, And I've seen you be in people's corner. Would you say that that experience was very formative to see like your principal step in and say, hey, listen, like I think you're wrong.
System. Chat. The system had told me a long time ago that I wasn't a great type of student.
Yeah.
Because I should be a teacher. I got a lot of problems.
Mhm.
She demonstrated that she cared. I immediately stopped going to that class at high school. I skipped every single day that I could. Because it's like, okay, you don't care about it.
Yeah.
Then why would I care about the work you're trying to get me to do?
Yeah.
I can do it also. I can study Hamlet with my friends. Not in the classroom, they're not going to be doing any of the public events that I require. Now I'm very slow when I'm there. And nothing but. They don't on me, right? It's very, very slow. Behaviorally, they don't on me. They don't behave. I can on me her. But it's like that's not important. They drove me to Valley. They drove me to every post-secondary institution in any town we went to. So I went to the University of Victoria, I went to the University of BC. Every single year we go around these different colleges and visit galleries and we visit the bookstores and we visit the libraries. And I was introduced to these different incredible philosophers. And they just gave me all that stuff from their brains. Now, if I could, and this is my what I used to tell kids, if I could plug them into my brain and just give them all the things that I picked up, I would. I just here download. I just take it all because I don't really teach that now, right? I can talk it, but I don't know what to show that. I'm really bad for it. All of these kids, and there was one girl, God, what she she was the only child in the group of grade nines willing to say, you need to leave an egg on your tooth. When I was there on the first day of classes, like I was horribly embarrassed, choked on my noodles. I was dying in front of the class because I choked on my noodles in front of the students who don't know me. And oh my God, it was funny. But she's never gonna forget that. And that little happen things like thank God somebody said something and she continued to get better.
Clearing out my room and talking with Ray and Randy, I've been reflecting. It's like she might have forgotten that, right? Oh, okay.
Yeah. If she
But that's wonderful. But you know, like being a teacher and having been a student, just realizing that something that seems so small and trivial to you at the time makes so much of a difference to someone years later. And I haven't been teaching long enough to collect those incidents and stories and have them come back. Yeah. Yes.
space, anything about, it could be this room, it could be open. It doesn't matter where I am. I used to think that it was very nice for this room, but it's, I think that you have the ability to walk people in space to how those physical things are. Create incredible relationships with people, and relationships and stories are how education can flourish. Now, if you just make sure that the government will see too many of these places that stories. I'm waiting for the younger generation to get involved in politics. And they make the changes necessary to make sure that they're supporting the way that we.
So it is 11:55, raised lunches soon. Um,
But
if we don't continue after lunch, I do want to say thank you, Margaret. It has been wonderful to work alongside you. You have created a space that was so inviting that I often would leave my class and join it. I always felt welcome, and over the years I observed that you felt welcome to come into my class as well, and you always were.
yeah,
That's that's okay. Um, I have found inspiration in how you engage with the students. You know, I had a lot of difficult days this year, and over the 3.25 years that I've been here, I have seen, you just have
all
very consistent positive days, and to kind of glean from you and from other people in the building of how you do that is I think, the key to a long and successful and happy career, healthy as well. I'm not done praising you yet. We're gonna close with that. We're gonna close with that. No, I want you to know, um, for sure. A lot of growth still needs to happen, but there are many things that, you don't get taught in school. They don't teach you in school how to use your benefits. They don't teach you how to do these small things that are given to you for, your care and your well-being, and like learning to advocate to people like, hey, you need to take care of yourself because no one's going to do it for you, right? I would say that.
patience. You know, yourself. If you have to go to the bathroom, okay, anybody who wants to be a teacher who watches this video, go to the bathroom. My mom taught for 30 years, and that was her advice.
Mhm.
Make it light. And go to the bathroom so you don't get a UTI. That was her only advice, just. She was the toughest little grade 2 teacher. She'd yell at the kids, she'd overturn desks, like literally, I've heard stories now, like. She'd get really, really angry. It's just like, don't do that to yourself. It's not worth it. We'll replace you. So.
Thank you for this very unique interview. I really hope the audio got caught. It was going up and down the little audio bar, but we'll see.
I'm usually pretty good at being loud when I'm good with the mic to pick me up.
I
Thank
told.
you, Chris.
Okay, thank you.